What up, cucks? It's your boy, the hater, and it's time to do kind of like a 1 month analysis of Cody Rhodes' title reign. In my opinion, the title reign has been a colossal disaster thus far. Here's why, cucks. At the end of Backlash, around the end of Backlash, Michael Cole explains that the winner of the main event, as well as the new tag team champions and Triple H, are going to be part of some stupid ass press conference. Now, the fact that they do these press conferences, like the UFC, like the post-fight press conferences, is extremely stupid because wrestling is fake, motherfucks. Let me explain it to you again. Wrestling is fake. If some grown man wants to sit in a news conference, press conference type situation, and seriously ask Cody Rhodes, Cody, what did anything surprise you about what AJ Styles did? Like, that person is a fucking moron, right? It's like, nothing surprised them because he knew everything that AJ Styles was going to do before AJ Styles did it. That's the nature of the sport, right? In UFC, they do this because they talk about a variety of different things that are interesting, right? In boxing too. But let's take UFC as an example because those are very popular. I actually look forward to them, sometimes more than the actual pay-per-view. Dana White comes out and he gives like props to whoever did well. And these people are going to get pushed in the UFC. He also talks about certain metrics that are interesting, like how much money the fucking event made, right? Then sometimes Dana explains like, oh, well, now this guy is ready for this guy, or this is what's going to happen next. Well, he gives some information. Then the fighters themselves also go out there and say, I'd like to fight this guy next, right? And it's interesting because it's real, right? Because what just happened has a bearing on what happens next. Now, WWE could do this, of course, if they, make the press conferences like, kayfabe, right? But they're not. They're like real. So it's like half kayfabe because Cody Rhodes has to pretend he's a real athlete in a real sport, and half real because he also has to play the role of like Cody Rhodes, right? But do so in a loose way. Now, in my opinion, these press conferences are basically there just for Cody Rhodes, right? Because I didn't see Damian Priest in the, being advertised. Maybe he was part of it, I don't know. But Michael Cole sure as shit made it clear that it's going to be Cody Rhodes. The winner of the real main event is going to be the one that appears on the press conference. The winner of SmackDown, not the winner of Monday Night Raw, cuckolds. Now, with all that being said, let's move on to the next reason why the AJ Styles reign has failed, right? The first reason being, of course, that these stupid-ass press conferences are making him look like a chump. Now, reason two, he's only wrestled twice since he won the belt. Fine, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. But the main point about him not wrestling enough is that they're trying to make every match feel like a spectacle, right? And this shows within the match. Like, Cody Rhodes will just start hulking up now. Now his new thing is he hulks up. Hulk Rhodes, motherfucks. Hulk Rhodes hulks up in the middle of the ring, and then the camera zooms out, right? And nobody else gets this treatment, right? Nobody else gets these benefits that the cuckster Cody Rhodes gets, right? But more importantly, they keep pushing down our throat that Cody Rhodes will lead us into the new era. Well, when the fuck does the new era begin if it hasn't begun yet and he's going to lead us into it? We're already in it. He's not leading shit because he's there every 2 weeks. And, one of those times at least, he doesn't wrestle, right? Cody Rhodes just doesn't show up. So that's really dumb. Now, I believe that WWE sees this, right? And that's why they're doing all these things like the press conferences and the disparate treatment within the matches, right? I believe that they realize that Cody Rhodes just isn't going to be a star, right? But instead of just quickly moving on to someone else, which is maybe their plan B, they try to continuously make him into the star that he clearly is not. Nobody knows who Cody Rhodes is, right? He hasn't been champion long enough to have established himself into anything. And quite frankly, he's almost 40 and he's just finally doing his title run. And I don't think that this is going to lead to him having this, great career in the future. He's going to have he's got a few good years in him. He can go until, let's say, he's 45, right? No doubt. But I don't think he's going to be in the main event during that whole time, right? I think he's got a year, maybe 2 years. Then after that, motherfuck, It's like he's gonna be in like a Booker T end of the career type spot, right? Like everybody else, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Or like even like John Cena. John Cena's like basically 5 years older than Cody, but John Cena is not like a main eventer anymore. Even if he were around today, he wouldn't be in the main event anymore. That's why he left, right? He'd be like a Randy Orton. You know, he'd be like just there, kind of like fighting for the U.S. title. You know what I mean? But that's not here nor there. They realize that Cody Rhodes is not this big star. So what do? Well, they do everything that I just mentioned, but they also do a lot more, right? They understand that what worked with Roman Reigns could work with Cody Rhodes if Cody Rhodes just doesn't show up enough times. But in my opinion, the worst thing and the thing that really shows that Cody Rhodes is not a main eventer is the fact that Cody Rhodes is on SmackDown, motherfuckers. Is on SmackDown. They're trying to eventually put over a real star on Raw. And here's how I know this, right? When they announce Cody Rhodes, they straight up just say, like, Cody Rhodes is the undisputed WWE champion. Except, motherfucks, he is not the undisputed WWE champion because now there's another world title, right? So the whole point of the word undisputed is that there's only one, right? We had the first ever undisputed world title when WWE and WCW merged, and Jericho won that. And then eventually that belt went to Brock Lesnar after a few, hot potatoes, right? Then after that, Triple H was given the World Heavyweight title, and the Brock Lesnar title was rebranded as the WWE Championship. It was no longer the undisputed title because it was disputed by the fact that there's another champion on another show, cucks. Same thing here. But I believe that it's like, because the other champion is Damian Priest, who is going to be a transitory champion, a transitional champion, because it's him, they're like, all right, who gives a flying fuck? You know what I mean? Like, we can just say Cody Rhodes is undisputed and treat the Damian Priest title like a mid-card title. But surely, within their mid to long-term plans, the main thing that they should be considering here is how can they take this title, right, the Cody Rhodes title, and, I don't know, move it to Raw or do something. I don't know. I don't care. But while they do that, someone has to establish the other title on Raw. And Damian Priest cannot be that guy because he's had one title defense. And given the fact that he also won the title through the Money in the Bank, Damian Priest needs his push, right? That's one of the worst things about Money in the Bank is that it takes away the push. That's going to be another video for another time. But the point is, going back to Cody Rhodes, the point is, it's like they understand that Cody Rhodes has some mainstream appeal. He's a good-looking guy. The kids seem to like him. They're thinking this might be another John Cena moment. The only problem, of course, is that, we already had John Cena. The fans hated John Cena as well. But Cody Rhodes just isn't going to be that appealing as John Cena because he's not as charismatic as John Cena. He's got good attributes, but it's just that, like, the way that he's been booked, everything else, in my opinion, has fallen flat. And I don't think it's too controversial to say that the Cuckster Cody Rhodes is really not in this position to succeed, right? I think, as with always, right? This is not like a new thing, right? These last 10 years in wrestling have gone by very fast. Like 10 years ago, Cena was 34 years old, and he was like, already at 34 years old, he was kind of like, I wouldn't say on his way out, but kind of, right? Kind of. Like, his best years were kind of behind him. Like, in my opinion, the best moment of Cena's career was when he won the title at WrestleMania against The Rock in the real main event, right? That's like the cap of his career, and that was like 10 years ago almost, motherfucks. Maybe even a little bit longer. I was still in law school, so it must have been 11 years ago. So, yeah, 11 years, WrestleMania 29. So it's like after that, Cena was kind of being faded out in favor of other people that, were just getting started at that point. People like Roman Reigns, who were like in their late 20s, right? And now, Roman Reigns, who was the guy that obviously came out of that on top, came out of the Shield on top, Roman Reigns now is on his way out. Like, again, he could have 5-6 years left, no doubt about it. But he's going to have to be faded out. But he can't be faded out for a guy who's like 2 years, or 2 months older than him, I think. I think Cody Rhodes is older than Roman Reigns, right? So it's like, it's time to find the next Roman Reigns. You know? And that's why a few years ago I was saying, okay, like, we've got like some time, like Cody Rhodes can push this for a couple of years maybe, right? If there's no one that's ready. And then maybe like, I don't know, Austin Theory could have come out, but obviously that plan's, that plan's dumb because Austin Theory is like a jobber now. But, maybe Braun Breaker, maybe they want to give it to Gunther, but Gunther's never going to be the face of the company. So they need to find their next face of the company. And as we've seen before, motherfucks, it's all about timing, right? If Randy Orton debuted in a different time when the roster wasn't so stacked, he would have been the face of the company, right? But they already had another face. You can only have one. And Cody Rhodes ain't going to be that guy, motherfucker.